Hi, my name is Beth Bodenhammer, and this is my case study for EDL 853 when a student's rights are wronged. Okay, in section 1, let's take a look at the problem and look at the data and what we know. What do we know? We know that I'm the principal of Nottingham High School. It is in Dover and is the only high school, and it has about 3,200 students. It has excellent programs and a very supportive community. A successful football team, and it's an older building built in the 1950s. Most of the building has been renovated to be up to code, but 1/4 of the building is still original. We do have outside trailers to accommodate all of our students, and Dr. Harvey is our superintendent, and he is very supportive and has a great relationship with our community. Miguel Hernandez is a sophomore, and he has moved into the area, and he is a football player. And he gets injured. He's actually our starting quarterback, and he gets injured at a semifinal game and has a spinal cord injury that leaves him needing wheelchair services. His parents met with Miss Guzman, who is our counselor, prior to his return to school to make sure that we knew that he needed no additional accommodations, but he did need wheelchair access to all of the classrooms. The conflict is that Mrs. Guzman switched Miguel from a biology class due to lack of wheelchair access. This issue was not discussed at the previous meeting, and the parents were under the impression that Miguel would have the same schedule. His parents have set up a meeting with the principal, and they've also hired a lawyer claiming that their child's rights were not protected per the 504 regulations and FAPE. Let's take a look at the legal issues that this situation is creating. First of all, Ms. Guzman and I are now violating Miguel's rights. Per our laws of ADA, IDEA, FAPE, and Section 504 of the Rehabilitation Act, all of those things to support equitable education for all students regardless of a disability. We must meet individual needs. We must provide equal opportunities for all students, and the class that he has been switched into does not qualify as a college prep class, which is also a problem. Miguel does qualify for services under Section 504 of the Rehabilitation Act, and his parents are entitled to a hearing because we are violating these laws. As far as liability of paying for the injury or being sued for the injury, it is very difficult to sue a school or another high school player over an injury because as parents, most people are signing a consent or a waiver that says that you understand that the activity could cause injury. And also, states have certain protocol when following liabilities, and there's something called sovereign immunity that protects schools from this type of liability. In section 3, we look at the synthesis, or what do we know in a nutshell about this case. We know Miguel is a student at Nottingham High School. He is no longer in a biology class that he needs for college prep due to lack of wheelchair access. We should have met and had a 504 ahead of time, or had a 504 meeting and started to implement a plan to avoid getting ourselves in this situation. That way we could have supported his needs upon his return to school. So now we have a potential liability. Section 4, let's synthesize our facts. Who is involved? We know Ms. Guzman, the counselor, the principal, which is myself, Miguel, the student, his parents, Mr. and Mrs. Hernandez, and their attorney, Howard Carey. This has taken place at Nottingham High School in Dover. It's the only high school in town, has 6 elementary schools and 2 middle schools. What's going on? What's going on is that we are now facing liability. Ms. Guzman is, I am, and our school, because we did not protect the students' rights. Prior accommodations should have been made upon his return to school, and better communication between the counselor, myself, and the parents. Because we didn't have this communication, we did not adhere to the laws that we should have. So let's prioritize our information. We need to make sure that we are promoting the academic success of all students. This situation could damage our reputation and our relationship with the community. Our school is now facing legal liability. Myself and the counselor now need to inform the superintendent and district members for guidance and support. We need to evaluate the current accessibility of the building and find solutions. We need to follow all of our school board policies regarding student rights, and we need to review and implement the 504 process. Okay, so planning. What are our options? Here are some potential things that we could take a look at. We could do nothing. We could consult with the district on funding for building maintenance. We could meet with the special education team to implement a 504 plan. We could report Ms. Guzman and take no personal responsibility. We could meet with Ms. Guzman, the parents, and the special education team to implement a 504 plan and find an alternative solution in the meantime. We could talk with staff to see if switching classrooms is an option. Okay, let's evaluate our options here. Option 1 was to take no action. The only pro to that is it's the easy way out. The cons are that it's very irresponsible. It damages relationships. We are still liable, and it could damage our school's reputation as well as mine as an administrator, and it doesn't solve future issues or support our students. Option 2, consult the district on funding for building maintenance. The pros are it would bring our building up to code and prevents future issues with accessibility. The cons are we learned previously in the case study that there isn't funding, and that is why 1/4 of the building is still not up to code. It doesn't provide immediate solution because if we even got the funding, getting the building up to code would take construction, and that is a timely process. Okay, we could meet with the special education team to implement a 504 plan, which should have been done in the beginning. The pros of this are it supports student and individual needs. It provides future support and accommodations for students with disabilities. The plan can be adapted as needed, and it opens the door for parent communication. The cons are it's no immediate solution, and it doesn't prevent future problems from occurring due to the building accessibility. Okay, our next option is to report Ms. Guzman. The pros to this are it's an easy way out, and I'm avoiding, as a principal, personal responsibility. The cons are that this is definitely going to damage my relationship with Ms. Guzman and probably the staff. It lacks integrity. It doesn't solve the issue. It doesn't prevent future issues, and it could ruin my reputation and the school's reputation. Option 5 is to meet with Ms. Guzman, the parents, and the special education team to implement a 504 plan and find an alternative solution in the meantime. We would talk with staff to see if switching classrooms is an option. The pros to this is that communication is always key. It supports teachers and offers solutions. The 504 plan will support students and it will be an immediate solution, and it also helps to de-escalate our situation. The cons are if we ask teachers to move classrooms, it could be upsetting. It's a lot of work, and we'd also have to make sure that each classroom had the appropriate resources needed for the curriculum. All right, choosing a solution to support our situation. As a future building leader, it is my responsibility to ensure equitable educational access for all students and to provide a positive culture that supports student success. For these reasons, I chose option 5. I also chose a quote that says, "Inclusion is not simply about physical proximity, it is about intentionally planning for the success of all students." Had we been intentional about planning for the success of students, I believe we would have supported Miguel in the beginning, and we would have avoided this situation. Okay, implementing our chosen plan. As a future building leader, it is my responsibility to ensure equitable educational access for all students and to provide a positive culture that supports student success. I will definitely talk to Ms. Guzman one-on-one to kind of talk about what we could do next time that would better meet our students' needs and make sure that she is aware of all the student rights as well as the rest of our staff to make sure we can avoid this problem in the future. Then, to implement this plan, after meeting with Miguel's parents and the attorney, I would set up with a meeting with Ms. Guzman and the special education team and district staff members to make a plan that adheres to district protocol. We would meet with the special education team to review 504 policies and begin to implement a plan. I would then have a staff meeting and talk to our staff about how we can utilize our space and classrooms so that all students have equal access to the same educational opportunities. This would also be a good time to have some professional development over our special education laws and regulations to make sure that we are all on the same page and that everybody is educated. I would also be sure that we're documenting all data, conversations, and any other important information regarding this situation. After we have a plan in place, I would meet with Miguel's parents, Ms. Guzman, and the special education team to go over the 504 plan that will be implemented and to share the adjustments we have made building-wide to ensure that all students have an equitable access to all classrooms and resources. I do believe that we can come to an agreement that will support Miguel. We are a student-first school, and our commitment to our community will always remain positive and consistent. I hope you have enjoyed my review of this case study, and these are my resources.